There is a wound we rarely speak of, one that lingers in the silent spaces between what was said and what was never acknowledged. It is the wound of being hurt and then ignored, of watching someone wound you deeply, unmistakably, and then act as though nothing happened. No apology, no recognition, not even a flicker of awareness in their eyes. It's a kind of violence that doesn't leave visible scars, but instead disrupts the very fabric of your inner world. And if you've experienced it, let me assure you, you are not imagining it, and you are not alone. I am Carl Jung, and I want to take you on a journey, one that does not begin with blame, but with insight, one that does not end in bitterness, but in liberation. Because when someone hurts you and then acts like nothing happened, it is not merely an act of cruelty. It is a reflection of something far deeper, far more unconscious, and understanding it may be the key to your healing. The human psyche seeks coherence. It strives to protect its image of itself. Most people walk through life not as whole beings, but as carefully curated identities, formed from what they can accept and what they have rejected. And so, when someone causes pain, especially if it contradicts their self-image as a good person, a dissonance is born. Jung called this cognitive dissonance, the threshold where the ego meets the shadow. The shadow is all that we do not want to see in ourselves, our selfishness, our rage, our indifference. When a person hurts you and then acts as if nothing happened, it is often because to admit the hurt would be to confront their shadow, and most people would rather distort reality than face that abyss. When you are hurt by someone close and they deny your pain, you become a living contradiction to their self-image. You are a mirror, and that mirror now reflects something uncomfortable, something ugly, and so, instead of owning the pain they caused, they disconnect from it, they gaslight, they minimize, they pretend, not always out of malice, often out of fear. Jung taught that the ego is a fragile construct. It doesn't want to admit fault, especially when the fault contradicts the archetype it clings to. The good parent, the loving partner, the loyal friend. Admitting they've hurt you might unravel the whole narrative. So they rewrite the story, they edit out the wound, and in doing so, they wound you again. Denial is not absence of knowledge. It is knowledge too painful to hold. So when they act like nothing happened, they are not unaware. They are avoiding guilt, avoiding shame, avoiding themselves. But make no mistake, the body remembers. The psyche records everything. What is denied on the surface festers in the unconscious. And this is why, so often, those who hurt you and deny it become strangely distant, emotionally cold, or erratic around you. They cannot meet your gaze because your presence reminds them of a truth they've buried. When someone hurts you and pretends it didn't happen, it is not just the pain of the original wound, it is the abandonment of your reality. Your truth is erased. Your emotional experience is denied. This creates a psychic split within you. Part of you feels rage, part feels confusion, part begins to doubt itself. Jung described this as a fragmentation of the soul. If you're not careful, you may begin to internalize the denial. You may start to think, maybe I'm being too sensitive. Maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe I deserved it. Double quotes, no, you didn't imagine it. You didn't deserve it, and your pain is real. So why do they act like nothing happened? Because facing your pain would require them to change, to feel, to grow. And growth is terrifying for those who are psychologically rigid. Many people are trapped in archetypal roles: victim, the savior, the martyr, the saint. If their behavior contradicts that role, the unconscious clamps down and says, "Protect the story at all costs." So they protect it, even if it means losing you, because their false self matters more to them than your truth. And that is a tragedy. Here is the hardest truth. You cannot make someone see what their soul is not ready to see. You can express your pain. You can share your truth. You can set a boundary, but you cannot force an awakening. And so the real question becomes, how do you care for your wound when the one who caused it will not? Jung would say, you must witness it yourself. You must become the healer you wished they were. Write what happened. Name it. Feel it. Cry it. Honor it. Don't rush to forgive. Don't pretend it didn't hurt. Don't take spiritual bypass routes, like everything happens for a reason. Too early. Stay with the wound long enough to hear what it wants to tell you. Every unacknowledged hurt is also an invitation to come home to yourself, to realize that your worth is not dependent on being understood, to discover that your power does not require validation, to remember that your truth is sacred even if no one else sees it. Jung believed the soul speaks in symbols, and sometimes the wound itself is a similar gateway to deeper self-awareness. What boundary did you ignore? What voice did you silence? What part of you needs protection now? This pain has something to show you. VIII. Liberation beyond the apology. People spend years waiting for an apology that never comes, for justice that never arrives, for closure that is never given. Let me offer you something radical. You don't need their apology to heal. You don't need them to validate your pain, because your healing is not dependent on their awakening. It is dependent on your decision to no longer abandon yourself, to no longer question your worth because someone else could not see it, to choose peace over resentment, freedom over fixation, presence over performance. Letting go does not mean forgetting it, means remembering without rage. It means feeling without drowning. It means loving without losing yourself again. Jung said, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. So choose to stand in your truth, even if it's lonely. Choose to love yourself, even if they didn't. Choose to keep your heart open but guarded with wisdom. If they hurt you and acted like nothing happened, perhaps it is because they are at war with themselves. Perhaps they don't know how to face their shadow, but you do, and that is why this wound came to you. Not as punishment, but as initiation. You were chosen to break the cycle, to stop the silence, to say, this mattered, and then to rise, to integrate, to become so that you never again betray yourself for the comfort of someone who cannot meet you in truth. You are not here to be ignored. You are not here to be erased. You are here to be whole. And those who can love you in that wholeness, they will stay. The rest, let them go and let your healing begin.